Dr. Alka Patel was a highly successful general practitioner in London, but despite her extensive medical knowledge, she was living in a constant state of extreme occupational stress. She was perpetually firefighting daily crises, carrying a massive allostatic load, and completely neglecting her own cellular biology. On her 39th birthday, her body simply gave out under the crushing weight of this lifestyle, and she was rushed to the hospital with a massive, terrifying fever. Lying in that hospital bed, diagnosed with a severe fever of unknown origin and nearly dying, she experienced a terrifying and profound awakening. She realized she had spent her entire career treating the symptoms of disease in other people, but knew absolutely nothing about cultivating deep, preventative health span for herself. That traumatic near-death experience forced Dr. Patel to completely overhaul her existence, transitioning from a standard physician to a leading longevity expert and lifestyle medicine doctor. She stopped guessing about her health and started utilizing continuous glucose monitors, deep microbiome mapping, and rigorous biological age biomarkers to track her metabolic recovery. Today, at a chronological age of 53, rigorous epigenetic testing confirms that Dr. Patel has a biological age of exactly 23. She successfully reversed her cellular aging by an astonishing 30 years, achieving this miracle not through random luck, but through a highly structured, unyielding biohacking routine. She implemented a protocol she calls the Sunshine Sync, where she gets exactly 1 minute of direct morning sunlight to set her circadian rhythm. This is combined with the power pulse, involving a 2-minute walk followed by a 20-second all-out sprint to trigger cardiovascular hormetic stress and boost her VO2 max. She also utilizes a strict hydration habit for constant renal clearance, and takes time for deep breath flow boosts to engage her parasympathetic nervous system and lower systemic cortisol. By stacking these seemingly simple daily habits and actively practicing gratitude to drastically reduce psychological stress, she rewrites her DNA methylation patterns every single day. Her story proves just how beautifully malleable the human body really is when given the right systemic inputs. And lifestyle medicine, which brings me to you. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, looking in the mirror, and realizing that the person staring back at you is fundamentally, biologically, and visibly younger than they were 10 years ago. Not because of a magic pill or a surgical procedure, but because you finally unlocked the deepest biological code hidden inside your own cells. Welcome to our deep dive today, and I am so glad you are here with me because we are going to talk about something that could quite literally change the trajectory of the rest of your life. So we are shifting your understanding of what it means to grow older and revealing that you are likely aging much faster than you think you are. If you want to take control of your future, stay with me all the way to the end of this video. Hit that subscribe button and join our community of people who refuse to let a calendar dictate their physical potential. Before we get into the incredible science of age reversal, I want to be completely transparent with you. Everything we discuss today is based on current, peer-reviewed medical research and trusted clinical data, and I have listed all the authentic medical institutions in the description below so you can verify this science yourself. Please remember that I am sharing this for educational purposes only, so always consult your own personal doctor before making any major changes to your routines. The most profound realization you can have about your health is understanding the massive, life-altering difference between your chronological age and your biological age. Chronological age is simply the number of years you have been alive on this planet, a rigid mathematical measurement used by society to issue driver's licenses and celebrate birthdays. However, Medical science now knows that chronological age is a terrible predictor of your actual physiological health and your true lifespan. Your biological age, on the other hand, is the true age of your cells, your organs, and your biological systems, reflecting the cumulative damage or vitality happening deep inside your body. You can easily have two people who were both born in the exact same year, sharing the exact same chronological age, but their bodies tell two completely different stories. So one person is running marathons and completely free of chronic disease, while the other is battling joint pain, memory loss, and severe cardiovascular issues. This massive discrepancy between the calendar and your cells brings us to a truth that completely upends our traditional understanding of getting older, which is that your lifespan is not a fixed genetic destiny. We used to believe that if your parents lived a long time, you would too, but cutting-edge research indicates that genetic factors only account for about 15 to 25% of the overall aging process. And that means up to 85% of how you age is dictated by modifiable lifestyle choices, environmental factors, and daily habits that you have direct, absolute control over. Things like chronic inflammation, oxidative stress, poor sleep quality, daily nutrition, mental health, and exposure to environmental toxins play a vastly more significant role in how quickly or slowly your body deteriorates. Understanding these modifiable factors makes it possible not just to measure your biological age, but to actively intervene, build cellular resilience, and dramatically improve your health span. Health span is the number of years you live in vibrant, disease-free health rather than just existing in a state of slow decline. To truly grasp how we can control this decline, we have to look inside the nucleus of your cells, at the very tips of your chromosomes, where we find protective caps known as telomeres. You can think of telomere length exactly like the plastic tips at the ends of your shoelaces that keep them from fraying and falling apart. This is crucial because every time your cells divide to repair your body, these telomeres get slightly shorter over decades. And as your telomere length reaches a critically short threshold, the cell can no longer divide to heal your tissues, meaning it either dies or enters a highly destructive state of cellular senescence. This shortening was long considered the ultimate countdown clock for human life, but modern regenerative medicine has proven that specific lifestyle interventions, rigorous exercise, and advanced therapeutics can actually preserve these caps. So in some incredible clinical trials, they can potentially lengthen these telomeres, effectively winding back your biological clock. And when those cells with critically short telomeres refuse to die, they become what scientists in the longevity field call senescent cells, or more commonly, zombie cells. So instead of being cleared away by a healthy immune system, these damaged zombie cells stubbornly stick around in your tissues. These cells secrete a highly toxic inflammatory cocktail of molecules that poison the surrounding healthy cells. This toxic sludge accelerates the aging of your entire body, driving the chronic low-grade inflammation that leads to arthritis, heart disease, and cognitive decline. However, one of the most exciting breakthroughs in longevity trends, 2026, is the development of senolytics. These are specialized compounds and targeted therapies designed specifically to hunt down and clear out these senescent cells, thereby drastically dropping your systemic inflammatory burden and allowing your tissues to rejuvenate. While clearing out the bad cells is vital, we also have to look at the energy production of the good cells, which brings us to the powerhouses of your biology, your mitochondria. As you rack up chronological years, your mitochondria often become dysfunctional, producing less of the vital cellular energy called ATP. They begin generating far more reactive oxygen species, which act like internal rust that damages your tissues and accelerates your biological age. When your mitochondria fail, your organs literally run out of the energy required to repair themselves, which is why optimizing mitochondrial biogenesis is a massive priority. Biohackers and longevity enthusiasts are increasingly turning to interventions like urolithin A supplements, hyperbaric O2 chambers, and rigorous VO2 max training. These methods force their bodies to build fresh, highly efficient mitochondria, ensuring their cellular engines run cleanly for decades. But how do doctors actually know if these mitochondrial and senolytic interventions are working? And how do we precisely measure your internal age? The answer lies in one of the most monumental discoveries in modern biology, known as epigenetic clocks. Your epigenome is a complex system of chemical tags that sit directly on top of your DNA sequence. It acts like software that tells your genetic hardware exactly how to operate, turning beneficial genes on and inflammatory genes off in response to your environment. As we age, the pattern of these chemical tags changes through a process called DNA methylation in a highly predictable manner. This allows scientists to read these patterns from a simple blood or saliva test and calculate your exact biological age with astonishing precision. First generation clocks like the Horvath clock measured cumulative aging, but advanced third generation tools like Dunedin Pace act as a biological speedometer. They give you real-time feedback on whether your current health optimization routine is actively slowing down your pace of aging. Building on the foundation of lifestyle habits we discussed with Dr. Patel, the elite longevity community is currently heavily focused on how the foods we eat directly alter our biological clocks. Top biohackers and longevity doctors universally advocate for the longevity diet. This diet prioritizes nutrient-dense whole foods and dramatically limits the ultra-processed garbage that causes massive blood sugar spikes and glycative stress. Furthermore, interventions like the fasting mimicking diet have shown incredible clinical results by severely restricting calories for just 5 days a month. And this restriction tricks the body into a state of nutrient scarcity, triggering a massive wave of cellular cleanup known as autophagy. During autophagy, your body literally eats its own damaged proteins and clears out senescent cells, resulting in a documented drop in biological age. While diet is powerful, the longevity trends 2026 conversations are heavily dominated by the emergence of pharmaceutical interventions that manipulate these exact same nutrient sensing pathways. A drug called rapamycin, originally discovered in the soil of Easter Island, is currently the gold standard in longevity research. It inhibits a protein complex called mTOR, powerfully tricking the body into that exact same state of autophagy and cellular cleanup without having to starve yourself. So alongside rapamycin, we are seeing the massive rise of GLP-1s for metabolic reset, which exert broad spectrum protection against aging. We are even seeing the rise of experimental peptide and antibody drugs like the Wolverine pack. These interventions utilize synthetic peptides to vastly accelerate tissue repair and wound healing, pushing the absolute limits of modern regenerative medicine. As we repair the inside of the body, we must also address the massive intersection between biological aging and outward appearance. Your skin is a vital functional organ that acts as the primary barrier to the outside world and heavily reflects your internal health span. The anti-aging skincare industry is moving far beyond simple moisturizers and heavily emphasizing evidence-based medicine. They are utilizing retinoids as the absolute gold standard to stimulate collagen-supporting formulas and drastically accelerate cellular turnover, Top dermatologists are combining these powerful retinoids with high-quality vitamin C serum to neutralize the oxidative stress caused by daily pollution, sealing it all in with a broad-spectrum SPF to physically block the UV radiation that causes DNA mutations. The future of this space is leaning heavily into exosome therapy and advanced peptides. These treatments deliver youthful RNA directly into aging dermal fibroblasts, essentially signaling them to behave like completely brand new, biologically young cells. But all the advanced skincare and experimental pharmaceuticals in the world cannot save you if you do not prioritize the most critical, foundational pillar of longevity: deep, restorative sleep. Sleep is not a passive state of unconsciousness. It is an incredibly active biological period. During this time, the brain engages the glymphatic system to physically wash away the neurotoxic amyloid proteins that accumulate during waking hours. Chronically disrupted sleep destroys your circadian rhythm, heavily impairs glucose metabolism, and drastically increases inflammatory markers. This is why the health optimization community relies on wearables to meticulously track heart rate variability and sleep stages. It's also why concepts like sleep tourism are exploding in popularity. And as people finally realize that treating sleep as a highly disciplined medical intervention is vital, if you want to know what the absolute cutting edge of longevity looks like for those pushing the boundaries, you have to look at the comprehensive protocols utilized in advanced clinical settings. And elite clinics are conducting massive multi-organ biological age assessments, and they are utilizing DEXA scanning to precisely measure visceral fat and bone density, because excess visceral fat is a known driver of catastrophic chronic inflammation. They are also employing the Galleri test and preventive MRI scans to detect the faintest molecular whispers of cancer years before symptoms appear. Between advanced interventions like the hyperbaric O2 chamber, akkermansia, probiotic supplementation for the oral microbiome, and electrical muscle stimulation, the modern biohacker toolkit is more robust than ever, utilizing AI drug discovery platforms to perfectly tailor genomics testing to the individual. However, as incredible as these tools are, it is vital to remember that medical science, specifically regarding epigenetic clocks, still has very real limitations that we must respect. Medical reviews highlight that while these clocks are brilliant at predicting mortality, they are built using complex machine learning algorithms. These algorithms sometimes lack deep biological clarity. They can tell you that your body is aging faster, but they cannot always definitively tell you why. Furthermore, these clocks can be highly sensitive to short-term fluctuations, meaning a temporary viral infection can cause your score to temporarily spike. This is why these tests should be used to track long-term health span trends rather than inducing panic over a single result. The science is evolving rapidly, and as we push forward, we must combine these exciting biomarkers with standard proven clinical tests to get a truly accurate picture. The beautiful truth underlying all of this complex science is that you are no longer a passive victim to the ticking clock of chronological time. You have immense power over your own biology, and every single time you choose nutrient-dense foods or prioritize a full night of sleep, you are actively writing your own code. When you engage in rigorous cardiovascular exercise or manage your stress, you are instructing your cells to repair, to endure, and to thrive. The ultimate goal of this longevity movement is not just to add a few more frail years to the end of your life, but to completely eliminate the period of disease and disability. We want to pack massive, vibrant, unyielding life into your years. You have the knowledge and the tools to shift your trajectory right now. So take control of your daily habits, embrace the science of healthspan, and start building a biological machine that will carry you beautifully through the decades to come. Thank you so much for joining me today on this massive journey into the science of biological versus chronological age. If this information changed how you view your future, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone you want to see live a long, healthy life. I want to hear from you. So leave a comment below and let me know exactly which lifestyle change or biohacking routine you are going to start implementing today to lower your biological age. Below are the trusted medical organizations and clinical sources that form the foundation of our discussion today. And until next time, stay curious, stay active, and take phenomenal care of yourselves.